Oh no, I thought I saw someone creep in, pop in. It's about 10 o'clock. We'll get started in just a moment. Let me know if you're here. I'm Jennifer Eubank, here each Tuesday from 10 to 10:30 with a little yoga for you. I hope you're here. And if you're not here now, hopefully you can come back later, some other time. We're here every weekday morning from 10 to 10:30 on the Sun and Moon Yoga YouTube channel. Alex is here from 10 to 10:30 on Sundays. And we'll get started in just a few moments. You might need a blanket and a block. We'll need a block at some point, if all goes according to plan. So today's practice is meant, hello Jane, glad to see you. I'm ready to go as well. Blanket and a block. It's spring. It's getting really, really beautiful out there. Really nice weather. And everybody's out in their gardens doing a lot of creative work in our yards. And that's very soothing and calming and creative. It's a very right brain activity. Yet we have taxes looming, which is a very left brain activity. I'm very right brain because I'm left-handed, and so things like numbers and taxes and math, that just wigs me out. So I feel challenged and excited and a little unsettled. And I don't know if you're feeling that way as well, but I thought we would have a nice practice to help us bring a sense of interconnectedness between the two halves of our brain. Unity, much easier to say. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll start in a seated position. I'm on a blanket. And again, you should, we'll need a block, definitely. We will need a block at some point, so have that on hand. And as we come to a seated position, you can pick whatever seated position you would like. I'm picking square pose, which is like easy pose. This is easy pose, legs crossed. But the knees are pretty wide and they get a little uneven. So I'm going to bring things closer in. Square pose. Stack my knees on top, one knee on top of the opposite foot or ankle. And bring your hands on top of your knees, draw the belly, lift the heart, relax the shoulders. Settle into your pose, your seated pose, square or not. And I like square because it brings a sense of order and balance. So take just a few quiet breaths. Breathing in and out with the nose. Perhaps you can balance the inhales and the exhales to complement the balance of your seat. And then as you're ready, let's do a little bit of breath work. Allergies are also in the air, so this can be very kind of like a clearinghouse for the breath as well as the brain. Alternate nostril breath. And if you've been to yoga, you've probably done this one before. Take whatever hand. I'm left-handed, so I use my left hand. Make a little U with the thumb and the forefinger, and one finger will be for each nostril. And as you're ready, close one of the nostrils with one of the fingers, and then inhale through the opposite, close it, open the other, and exhale. And then inhale through it, close it, open the other, and exhale through that one. And then you repeat. You inhale, close, open the other, and exhale. And keep going. You can close the eyes if you like. As you continue, try to deepen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. Let's go about 10 more breaths. More. Pace your breath as you see fit. So if it gets too big, just slow it down, back off of it. And as you're ready, end on an exhale. Bring the hand down as you're ready, and take a few quiet moments to let the effects register and soak in. Maybe close the eyes or open them if you still had them closed. And that brings a lot of clarity to the mind, brings a sense of interconnectedness and cohesiveness to the two halves of the brain. And we'll be talking more about alternate nostril breath over the next few weeks. But I'll leave it at that. It brings the two halves of the brain into cahoots. And it can be really effective if we're sitting in a nice balanced seat. So as you're ready, let's go ahead and stand up. And let's make our way up slowly but surely. Quietly make your way up. Maybe come up by way of your downward facing dog. That might be a good idea to come up in a balanced fashion. And as you come up, take a few moments to find the three corners of each foot. Heel and the balls of the big and little toes, and root into them evenly. And let's do a little bit of grounding. Start to bend your knees and kind of bounce. Just a nice, gentle bouncing, grounding. Keep the feet even as you do this. And this can be very grounding and rooting and bring a sense of stability to the body. It also just gives your hips and your knees a little quiet chance to warm up some. And then as you're ready, we'll come back to mountain pose. And then let's go ahead and heel toe our feet out just a little bit. Not much width, but just a little to give you a nice strong base. And we'll do this next sequence, which is also really nice for bringing the left and the right sides of the brains into better connection. So bring the hands out to the sides, draw your belly in, lift your heart, and as you're ready, lift your arms up to shoulder height. And then as you're ready, take your right hand and touch your left shoulder, and then bring it back, and take your left hand and touch your right shoulder, and come back. And we'll go back and forth between these 2 points, bringing the right hand to the left side, and the left hand to the right side. And as you land, you can even kind of tap your shoulder a little bit. And maybe start to speed it up. Breathing through the nose, keeping the feet evenly rooted in those 3 corners, legs equally strong, knees equally soft. Now let's reach for the elbows, which means you might have to kind of turn just a little bit, and that's fine, but keep the feet even. And the faster you go, the less delineation between the two. So if you go really slow, you can make a concerted effort to pause in the center. But as you start to speed it up, that might become a little less evident, and that's fine. And anytime you need to bring the arms down and rest for a few moments, you can do that as well. And soon, as in now, whenever you're ready, start to reach for the wrists. And it's hard to actually make contact with the wrist, but try. Give it your best effort. You have to turn the body a little bit more. Keep those feet even the whole time. I call these cast-offs. Let's go one more time to each direction. And then bring the arms down and do a couple of shoulder rolls. Go one way and then go the other way. And keep the feet even the whole time you do this. And the knees equally soft. And then as you're ready, continue to root. Draw the belly in. Inhale, lift those arms up to shoulder height again. Take a few breaths to settle into this shape. And then as you're ready, let's start again. Right hand to left shoulder and the other side. Then we'll go to the elbows and then to the wrists. And now let's go to the hips. And let's stay a few moments at the hips. Right hand to left hand, left hip, left hand to right hip. Keep the feet even. You can go slow, or you can bring a sense of faster paced rhythm. Whatever works for you. And now let's switch it up a little and reach for the knee. Oops, I'm going to have to move up a little bit, lest I knock off one of my, whoops, not enough. Almost knocked one of my prints off the wall. A little bit more effort here. Keep the feet good and rooted. Breath flowing freely. Inhaling with one motion, exhaling with another. Stop whenever you need to, or pause whenever you need to. Let's go one more round to the knees. And then let's make our way down towards the ankles. Maybe that means calves and or shins, actually. I always get those two mixed up. Keep the feet even. Windmills. Keep those knees soft. Avoid locking those knees. How can you keep the legs strong, but the joints soft at the same time? Opposite ideas. Let's make our way back up to the knees. And then the hips. Just do 2 rounds each destination. And let's go to the wrists. Let's go to the elbows. And then let's go to the shoulder and give the shoulder a little tap, a little bit more emphasis here, since it's not quite as long a trip. And then finish out with the arms wide, shoulders relaxed, elbows soft, hands facing the device or the opposite wall. That helps keep the shoulders rotated out and the heart lifted and the chest and upper back expanded. And we'll bring those arms back down. And then face the hands back in. Take a couple of breaths. Notice how you feel. Are your feet still evenly rooted? Are your knees still soft? Belly still drawn? Heart lifted? Shoulders soft? Check in with all those points. And then as you're ready, let's heel toe back in. And then let's march it out a little. And bend and straighten. I maybe do a little bit more of that grounding there. And then let's go ahead and grab our blocks. And put the block, make it so both the feet and the block are on the mat. I've got 2 mats, so that might be harder for you, but do your best to have the feet and the block both on the mat. And go wide with the feet and have the block slightly in front of the feet. So you're making a triangle. And don't go so wide that you anger your hips like I just did. And then as you're ready, find those 3 corners of your feet, root evenly, draw the belly, lift your heart, use an inhale to extend the arms up, and use an exhale to swan dive. Keep the feet even as you make your way down to the block. And settle into the block here for a few breaths. And then as you're ready, let's do some light, gentle lunging. Going from side to side, making sure the knee and the foot are facing the same direction as you bend the knee, so you might want to check and make sure they're doing the right thing. And then when you know you are, you can not have to look at it. Take a few more breaths, a few more rotations, or lunges, I should say. And maybe you'll start to get a little bit more warmed up, and you might want to widen the feet, maybe go a little bit further. And then as you're ready, stay to one side. Keep the hands in the middle on the block. And as you lunge to one side, take a few breaths to even out both feet, even though their legs are doing something a little different. And then come back to center on those even feet, and then go to the other side. Figure out how far you're going to go. Knee and foot pointing in the same direction, feet even, head looking at the block there. Keep the head in neutral position. Come back to center. Take a few breaths here. And then if you can, bring the hands down to the floor and come down into a full forward fold. Now you can always keep the hands on the block for a forward fold. They don't have to come down to the floor. But I want to go a little bit lower and ensure that the feet are even. And we'll spend a few breaths here. And then as you're ready, walk forward a little and bring one knee down and then the other knee down, and you've landed in a table position. And then we'll take that block, we'll just have it on reserve for now. Let's do this. Let's come into a cat lunge. Bring your right foot up to the side here. and then extend it out. And then use that block to make your way up. So you're in a gateway position. And find a sense of balance between the knee and the foot. The foot is facing your device, your opposite wall, belly drawn, heart lifted. Inhale your arms up overhead, and then exhale the right hand down to the leg. And then reach up with the left and exhale, kind of curve over to the right. And keep the right knee soft. Keep a sense of balance and evenness between the two legs, even though they're different. And then as you're ready, inhale back up to center and exhale that hand down. And then take your block and put it on the left side of your body, not too close to that bent knee. So we'll do a half moon. And as you're ready, draw the belly in, lift the heart, and find equal weight in that foundation as you lift the right arm up towards the ceiling. And settle in to this half moon shape, a little bit less challenging. Sometimes we do this on our feet. It's a little less scary, so perhaps it's easier for you to look up at that hand, and if you do, I realized, oh, my hand's forward, so as I look up, bring that hand back, Jenny. And then as you're ready, we can bring the head forward and down, and bring that arm down, and lift back up, and make your way back to table position. And shake it out, and come into your cat lunge on the left. So the foot comes out and to the side, and it's pointing to the short side. And then as you're ready, straighten it out and use your block to lift you up. So as you straighten out the leg, now the foot is pointing in the opposite direction. Take a couple of breaths here. Find evenness, draw the belly in, lift the heart. Use an inhale to bring the arms up overhead, and an exhale to bring that left hand down. And settle in, and when you're ready, use another inhale to reach up, and exhale, curve over. Slowly build your curve so that you're not collapsing into it. And the bottom half is good and strong, giving you that stability. Maybe you can go a little deeper, a little further. And then as you're ready, we can use an inhale to bring that arm and body back. Exhale to bring the hand down. And then we'll take our block and put it on the side of the left leg. Draw your belly in, lift your heart, and find that good foundation. And when you're ready, lift that arm up towards the ceiling. Foundation is even though the shape is different from side to side. And perhaps look up at this hand. Keep the elbows and the wrists and the shoulders soft in both arms, but particularly the one that is supporting the pose. Use an exhale to float that arm back down, and an inhale to make your way back up. And then we can make our way into table position and shake it out a little. And then let's sit back and perhaps reintroduce your blanket into the mix. And let's do a cobbler pose. A great way to find balance and symmetry, unity, evenness, and a sense of connection between the two halves, because we're starting with a literal connection with the feet. So hook up the heels, the balls of the big and little toes, and press into them evenly like we've been doing, not on the floor now, but into one another. And draw the belly in and lift the heart, and just go through the different sets of pairs in the body. Are your knees equally soft? Are your sits bones equally rooted? Are your shoulders equally soft? Maybe close the eyes. Take a few more breaths. And from here, with all this symmetry and balance to the body and perhaps to the brain and the breath, we'll bring it forward and bring a sense of ease and calm to this position, even more so. So when you're ready, we'll come forward in a forward fold. Draw the belly in, use an inhale to lengthen your spine a little bit more, and as you exhale, press into the sits bones and hinge the hips. Press into the 2 feet, the 2 feet into the floor, and the 2 feet into one another, giving you leverage to come forward with ease and stability and ease. Take your time coming forward, and when you're ready, drop the head. And maybe once you drop the head, you come forward a little bit more. Try to keep things even and balanced as much as possible. And take a few balanced breaths, making the inhale last as long as the exhale. Do 5 of those, all through the nose. As you make your way to 5, slowly but surely, check in on the stance of the pose. And when you're ready, begin to lift the head and press into the floor with the feet, the sits bones. Slowly but surely make your way back up. As you come back up, let's return to square pose. Now, if you would like to extend the legs and shake them out for a little, you can do that, or you can go right into your square pose, stacking the knee on the opposite foot and ankle, and bring your hands onto your knees. And then take your left hand and touch the tips of the thumb and the ring finger, and on your right hand, touch the tips of the thumb and the middle finger. So, left hand, thumb and ring finger, right hand, thumb and middle finger. And just take a look at your hands, different but the same. And then when you're ready to settle in, bring those hands back to the knees. Ensure that you've got a good tall stance here, even though you're seated. Maybe close the eyes. This is called Vyana Vayu Mudra, and it's meant to bring a sense of interconnectedness and unity in the energy of the body. It helps the nerves communicate with the physical body. Therefore, it's very calming and very soothing. Couple more breaths. See if you might balance the inhales with the exhales. As you're ready, release that mudra and replace it with this mudra. Anjali mudra, hands in front of the heart. Right meets left, left meets right, right in the center. Take a few breaths, stabilize your foundation, and when you're ready, namaste. Thank you so much for your practice this morning. I hope that brought a sense of clarity and gives you some good energy and balance for the rest of the day. And if ever you feel a little imbalanced, do one or more of those things. You can do alternate nostril breath when you're in your car. It's a very powerful breathing technique. So thank you for joining me. Again, I'm Jennifer Eubank. My website is jennifereubank.com. I'm here every Tuesday from 10 to 10:30 for Sun and Moon. Check out our our studio's website, sunandmoonyoga.com. And thank you so much. Have a great week. Enjoy this gorgeous weather. And come back and visit this recording some other time. And tell your friends. Please tell your friends. And feel free to type something before you leave. Chat if you'd like to. You don't need to. Thank you for coming, and see you next week.